Welcome to the Whole Lotta Woman podcast, where we explore, explain, and discuss what makes us a whole lot of women in today's society. I created the Whole Lotta Woman brand to embrace the four traits that I feel make someone a whole lot of woman in today's world, and those are beauty, brain, strength, and standards. We'll be covering a variety of topics from relationships to real estate. If you would like to join this sisterhood, please subscribe, share with a friend, and stay tuned for more.
I won't be defined, stars are aligned. What's for me is mine. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of. I've been refined, beauty's divine. All things in God's time. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. This for all my women, 'cause you're a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. This for all my women, 'cause you're a whole lot of woman.
All right, welcome to episode 10 of the Whole Lotta Woman podcast. So this week we are covering the strength aspect of leveling up in your dating life. And before we get started, I want to remind everybody to leave me a review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts, or you can leave me a voice note. And you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes and choosing the message option, and that'll let you leave a voice note. And last but not least, don't forget to check out the YouTube channel. I'll leave the link for that in the show notes as well. So now that we got that out the way, let's get into the show. All right, so the thing I want to talk about today, as far as the strength aspect and leveling up your dating, is perspective, okay? And I put it in strength because I want you to look at yourself and ask yourself, are you actually ready to date? When I say that, I want you to think about, have you healed from your past relationships and how that could affect your future? You know what I mean? So if you haven't healed from your past relationships, you could end up damaging a new healthy relationship. If your last 3 guys cheated on you, now you think all men cheat in this world, and a good man was to walk into your life tomorrow and he was fully monogamous and didn't even think about cheating on you, you still wouldn't trust that man because you're not healed, and you still think all men ain't no good. So there's no way that you the one out there a million that's not gonna cheat on me. And what you're gonna do is either drive him to cheat just to prove your point right, or you're gonna drive him to leave you, and you still gonna be saying, see, men ain't no good. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be taking accountability that you actually ran that one off. You ran off a good one. You know what I'm saying? Because you was clinging to the bad one so hard, when a good one came, you pushed them away. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to date. You know what I'm saying? But heal from what you've been through first, and wait till you have closure before you move on to something serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying that you can't accept a little dinner date or something, somebody, a little game night here or there with a dude or something. But what I'm saying is, don't think that you just gonna go fall in love and it's just gonna be so easy peasy for you. You know what I'm saying? Or easy for the relationship. It's one thing if y'all work through things together, but why bring baggage to the table that you could have cleared off before you got there? And y'all can just have room to enjoy each other. Because everybody ain't going to try to work it out with you. Especially if you showing your damage in the beginning. What's the point? I don't know you yet. Before I invest, let me get up out of here. Let me jump ship. Everybody ain't going to hold you down. And, I suggest, working on yourself, getting into therapy before you add somebody else into the mix. Sometimes the person you need to add into the mix might need to be a therapist. So, because you don't want to add any more trauma to yourself in a new relationship that's just going to be as toxic as the old ones, because you're still broken. You know what I'm saying? You could end up causing more trauma to yourself, or causing trauma to a good person that didn't mean you any harm, that had the best intentions for you, but you was so damaged, you just couldn't see the good in that person. So heal yourself first. That way you can see the light when other people come around. if you had toxic ways, make sure you fix those ways before you get into the next relationship. And when I say toxic, I'm talking about like if you know you a cheater, that's your thing. If you a cheater, just don't get in a relationship. Just don't. Just be single and do your thing. But don't get in a relationship for all the benefits of a relationship, but then every time you step out the door, you the most single thing in the world. Don't do that. You know. And if you know you have things that you've done in the past to damage relationships, self-reflect and figure out why you lash out like that in toxic ways. You know, is it due to childhood trauma, insecurities? Like, is it just control or fear of losing the person? You know, I've been through that in a relationship. The dude, he was so scared of losing me that he just tried to control everything that I did. And that made the relationship bad too. You know, it wasn't good for me. So, do you have anger issues, trust issues? Like, figure out where that stuff stems from. And that's where you can start your healing at. And are you actually fully in a healthy mental state? Like, don't try to fix a low or depressed mental state by meeting somebody and hoping they'll fix you or distract you from your problems. That's not how it works. The problems will still exist and probably just grow over time since you're just ignoring them. Problems don't just go away. And don't subject somebody to deal with the unhealthy version of you. You want to give people the best version of you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want your story to be told as. You know, like, I was talking to my friend and she ran into my ex recently and she was saying how healthy he looked and how good he looked. And I was saying I was happy for that. And I was happy for him. I was like, because he told me, you know, during our relationship that this is not who he usually is in a relationship, but he was going through a depressed time. You know what I'm saying? And he would tell me he don't need to be in a relationship. I mean, we still went through our cycles, but at the end of the day, he said that, you know, he was depressed and he couldn't give what he needed to truly give in the relationship due to being depressed. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's been years since we broke up, and she saw him and she was like, no, he looked healthy, he looked good. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look down and out. And I love that for everybody. I would never want to see nobody just in a constant state of depression 10 years later. You know, that's no good for anybody. So fix yourself, you know, be honest with yourself and what you actually need to do to fix you. And telling a person you have issues doesn't count as you getting help for the issues, okay? Oh, I'm depressed, that's why I have to treat you like this. I'm depressed, that's why XYZ, but you ain't taking no medication, you ain't seen no doctor. You might not even be diagnosed as depressed. You know, you just saying that's your excuse to treat somebody a certain type of way. That's not okay. You know, I've heard bipolar people make excuses for why they do certain things in relationships and blame it on being bipolar, but then you have other bipolar people saying, no, that's just an excuse, because if you know that's your thing, you need to be doing something to fix that or counteract that. If you just saying, no, I'm bipolar, that's why I do this, that's not fair. That's not fair to the other person that you with, that they just got to take all kind of abuse because they love you and because you choose not to get help. And, you know, be honest with yourself and figure out, do you actually have a healthy self-esteem? You know, during the dating phase, you're going to come across different kind of people, and some going to be rude and some going to be harsh. So you're going to have a thick skin. And if every type of criticism is going to break you down or make you self-reflect, you might not be ready to date yet. You know what I mean? You're going to have a thicker skin to be out there in that dating game. For real, for real. Because there's some people that's going to be trying to give you the honest truth about what you need to fix. And there's some people that's just going to be buttholes. And you're going to have to know the difference. You're going to have to be secure in yourself and know which is which. Okay? You need to know what you bring into the table. You need to know what your flaws are and work on fixing said flaws, you know, and understand the difference between when somebody's giving you valid criticism that you might need to go home and self-reflect and work on, versus somebody that is trying to hurt your feelings because they scared of rejection, or they just a butthole, or whatever their reasoning is. You know what I'm saying? So please be ready. So think about if your self-esteem can truly handle dating. Can it? How do you deal with a rejection? Are you the stalker? To figure that out. You know what I mean? Do you have attachment issues? So if, rejection, what I'm saying, this kind of stuff sends you over the edge with anxiety, you might have a little homework to do on yourself. And when I say attachment, I'm referring to falling in love in the day and thinking that you have to stick it out. Y'all go on y'all first date, in your mind you done married this man and you see your whole future. Now, every piece of BS he hit you with, you feeling like you got to stick it out and you got to ride with him. Like I said, that girl I let stay with me that time, you said, I got to ride for mine. Y'all been together 3 days. What are you talking about? Let me say yes to dating somebody, and then within the first 2 or 3 days, I get all kind of drama going on. Nah, baby, this ain't gonna work out. We ain't the same. I don't want to bring that into my life. I don't. My life ain't been drama filled, and I don't want to bring nobody in it that's gonna create drama or bring drama with them. So don't think you gotta stick for somebody because you like them. Be, be honest with yourself and have your eyes open for the red flags. A red flag don't mean, oh, let's work this out. The red flag mean, girl, you might need to turn the other way. We might have to get on the horse and ride the other way, okay? And realize if you are the type of person that just don't know when to walk away. In everything, like in all relationships. Like, you stay in relationships 4 years too long because you just don't know when it's time to walk away. You justify and justify and justify and blame yourself and everything but the reality of the situation. You need to fix that before you get out here in this dating world, because you could get attached to anybody that could bring you down, and you're trying to stick it out when you could really be out here meeting somebody that has some value and that could bring value to your life. You're better than that. Always remember, beauty, brain, strength, and standards. And just know that, out here in this dating world, you're going to have to deal with and be prepared to handle criticism and rejection in ways that you might not be used to. And I'm talking about like the ghosting, blocking, body shaming, this commentary, like all that stuff these men want to blank and tell you about yourself. Like, and these guys, it's like they holler at you, tell you got to take them out to eat. And if you say, well, no, I prefer you to eat now, you all kind of gold diggers and all this kind of stuff. All this is in the first conversation. Don't let that break you down. You got to understand, everybody you talk to ain't going to be screwed on right on the other side of that phone. Or everybody you meet who's charming the first few times y'all meet and then they turn into something else. You don't have to stay because they was charming the first couple times. And I just want to give y'all a heads up. I'm actually going to be talking to having a narcissist abuse coach on the show, so she could talk to y'all, because I really want y'all to hear about that, because it's so common and it's so necessary that y'all know the signs of narcissism and different tactics and stuff like that. So I will be telling y'all more about that at a later date, though. And going into dating, do you know what you actually want out of your next relationship? Are you dating for fun or dating for marriage? If you dating for marriage, don't tell a dude you dating for fun because he said he was dating for fun and you like him and you want to change him and you think you could break him down, because you might not be able to. And if you one of them people that don't know how to walk away fast enough, now you 10 years down the road trying to change his mind because you should have walked away 9 years ago, 9.5 years ago, but you still trying to change his mind because you don't know how to walk away from stuff. Okay, so Be honest with yourself. Be honest in your choices. You're going to have to give up the cute boys that's out here for fun if you looking for marriage. Okay? You got to date people that align with what you want, with your future. Because spending your good 10 years, your whole 20s, running behind somebody, or all your 30s, running behind somebody, and now you 40, and now you looking around trying to start over, trying to find a fresh new man. Pick is going to be slim. The men, might not be looking as good as you want them to look at 40. You're going to be 40, but want a 20-year-old looking man, and that's not going to be what approaches you all the time, And then you might get a 20-year-old, and he got 20-year-old pockets, okay? See how stuff ain't lining up the way we might want it to? Be honest with yourself from the beginning. And what is your vetting process? Think about that. Is it too strict? Is it too loose? Do you listen to see if the guy wants the same things, or do you just talk, and say everything that you want and let him mirror what you're saying? Oh, yeah, I like those things too. I like those too. But then when you try to go do the stuff, he don't really want to do it because he was just saying he did. You dominated the conversation, or he was just trying to win you over. So he said he liked everything that you liked. Make them talk. You can have a few interests, but one thing I learned from watching like narcissist stuff is when a dude or a person asks you, tell me what you don't like, or tell me all the things you do like, you're not supposed to literally list out the real things that you do like. Because if I list out, I like walks in the park, I like flowers, I like good morning text, that person is going, if they're trying to manipulate you, they're going to do all those things and win you over, and you think, oh my God, he just liked me so much. No, he's just trying to manipulate you, girl. If he was going to do those things from the heart, he'll do them without you telling him. Okay? So don't necessarily put all your cards on the table when you first start dating somebody. Don't give them all the ways to play you. So I'm not going to tell you the stuff I don't like, so you just don't do it around me. I'm going to watch, I'm going to watch to see. If I don't like smokers, I might not say that. I might say, oh, it don't, I don't really care if people smoke. It's up to them. I let people do them. And then when you pull out that cigarette, I'm like, in my mind, I make you out like, okay, well, this the last date. You don't have to put all your cards on the table. That way you can see what a person really, really, how they gonna move. Like, what they really want to do. And try to switch up your game. The stuff you've done in the past, try doing something different. If you used to dominating the conversation, listen more. You know what I'm saying? If you used to not speaking your mind, try speaking up and saying what you like. Try suggesting places, Try something new, because if you're single now and you're grown and you're my age, 36 and up, if you're single now, that means what you've been doing might not have been working. So I'm not saying it's all your fault, but all I'm saying is try something new. It's okay to try something new. You might love it. And just leave room for understanding if you meet someone you like, but they aren't interested in the same activities that you like. It's no shade towards you, but you have to be open-minded. And I say that because before I got, no, I want this relationship. But when I was in my 20s, I was single for like 7 years. And, I was lonely. You know what I mean? And in my mind, I felt like, okay, when I get a man, I'm going to do this, and that. We're going to be going to plays. We're going to be going to date nights. We're going to be going to movie nights. We just going to be all the stuff you see on Instagram and on the movies. All that stuff. My first boyfriend, after my 7 years single, I had to pay for everything. He didn't want to do nothing. He had to live off me. It wasn't none of the stuff I pictured in my mind. And if we were going to do any of the things I pictured in my mind, I was going to have to pay for all that. And I couldn't afford that. So that was, okay, strike one. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, now I'm in my long-term relationship. I just learned to realize, like, okay, some stuff is some girl stuff that I need to do with my homegirls. Like a Tyler Perry play. That's more for me and my girls. Sipping paint, that's me and my girls. He don't want to do that. I might can get him to do that, but It's just certain stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so just be understanding and don't feel like, oh, you don't want to do everything in the world that I want to do. That means you don't love me. You don't want to be with me. You might not want to do every single thing in the world that he want to do. So make some time for y'all and make some time for you. It's okay. Don't get scared for your man to have his own life. Because I know how some girls can be. You scared for him to leave the house. And I want to see, like, you need to ask yourself, like, I don't want to say ask yourself, but really evaluate, do you love who you are today without outside validation? Like, without somebody telling you you're pretty, do you feel pretty? You know, without somebody telling you you're smart, do you feel smart? You know, love yourself before you get in a relationship. And I know it's so cliche, it's so corny sounding, but it's the truth. Because if you hate everything about you, how are you going to believe it when somebody else says they love it about you? You know what I mean? It's like, if you despise, you know, your body, you know, oh, you just hate your body. You hate looking in the mirror. You hate everything about it because you got little titties. You don't have a big butt. You know what I mean? Like, you just hate it. And a man that you dating tells you that he love your body because he might actually like petite girls with small breasts and small butts, you know. But you can't believe that because you hate it, because in your mind you want a BBL and a breast, you know, breast implants, and that's what all men love and prefer. And that's not the truth. That's not the truth. You know, some men do love smaller shaped women, and they do exist, you know. So you got to love you before you can even believe somebody else is going to love you. And the next thing is he even worth it? You got all this anxiety going on. You playing in your head how you gonna talk, what you gonna wear, you know, how you gonna be on the date. And it's like, is he even worth it? It's like, make sure you actually like him. Don't just focus on making him like you or trying to impress him. It's like, hold on, do I even like you? Because, like, I remember telling my homegirl, like, I was talking to this guy for a few months, and then he came to visit, and, like, it was all right when we was chilling, like, we hung out, but I was telling her it was certain stuff he was doing, the way he was holding his wrist and his arms, and the way he was trying to look into my eyes. It was just so forced, and it looked like an act, and like he was trying to be sexy. Like, I kept telling her it was like he was trying to be like Morris Chestnut sexy, like, but it was in real life and not in a movie, so it was just weird. Like, stop looking me in my eyes squinting like that. Like, what? Oh my goodness, you know. And the more I got to know him, I'm like, oh, he don't have conversation. Oh, you really ain't got this going on. Okay, you ain't got a lot of sense. Okay, that's what you think about that. Okay, like, we not even on the same path. Like, mentally, we are not the same. Like, oh no. You know, so make sure you evaluate him on the first few months to see if he's even worth all the effort, girl. Like, don't even waste your time doing the most if you realize, like, okay, and you ain't got to raise a man and you ain't got to teach him everything. Just find somebody that already know the stuff. We ain't out here teaching dudes and teaching people and raising folks, other people's kids. Like, no, we're not doing that. If I need my man already ready made, okay? Fresh out the box. Like, I need my stuff ready made. And don't be fooled by words. You know what I'm saying? Always keep an eye on their actions. I done had dudes tell me on the first date, oh, I'm going to get your windows tinted. I'm going to take you on a shopping spree. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Girl, I ain't did none of it. None of it. And I won't sticking around believing it. Literally, when he said it, I was like, oh, Lord, you one of them that's finna promise me the world on the first date. Why? Why? Why you giving me all this on the first date? You don't know me. Why? You ain't took the time to get to know me yet. This the first time we hanging out. Like, come on now. I'm cute, but I ain't all that. I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not even fooling myself. So stop trying to fool me. And just keep in mind, it'll be easier to leave in the beginning versus trying to walk away after you done grown feelings for the person. You know, if you catching red flag after red flag 2 weeks in, go ahead and leave now. You know, y'all can still be friends on Instagram, or y'all can still be cool, but it's going to be way easier to cut ties in 2 weeks than it is going to be 2 months later, to be honest. Because some women, you know, we'll fall in love in 2 months. You know what I mean? Don't give it 2 years. You really dedicated. We long term now. You know what I'm saying? I can't leave you. By this time, we might have a baby, a lease, and a whole apartment. Like, we got ties. We got a car together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we on bills, cell phones together. So leave in the beginning when you're catching those red flags. Okay? And I know I heard the phrase, you know, red flags are just flags when you're wearing rose-colored glasses. So take them rose-colored glasses off, girl. It ain't all good all the time. I know the honeymoon phase is fun and you want it to last forever, but it never lasts forever. It never lasts forever. Stuff always get real. Get real don't mean bad, but it's real. You know what I mean? It's not going to be honeymoons and rainbows every day. That's not even life. And it's like, you might not even be expecting to fall in love with the person, but we can fall in love under the weirdest circumstances. So don't think you gonna control everything. You know, it's women that fell in love with men that they thought was ugly, is I don't know what at first, or didn't have any attraction to at first. And it's just like, now that's the apple of their eye, and that's they man, they man, they man. Okay? Like, you better not say nothing about they man. And so choosing to stick with a person through drama may cause you to trauma bond, and that's not how you want to be connected to somebody. You know what I mean? Just through trauma, because there's no real substance to the relationship. All we can bond over is pain, just each other pain. We just gonna stick together because of pain. Like, that is not healthy either. You know, be with somebody that you can be happy with, you can joke with. You know what I'm saying? Just be 100 all the way around. You can show them all different sides of you, you know? So, yeah. So that's all that I have for today as far as the strength aspect of leveling up your dating process. But I want to thank you all for listening. Again, please don't forget to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening on. Leave me a voice message. Check out the YouTube channel. Okay? I'll put everything in the show notes. And always remember, beauty, brains, strength, and standards are what make you a whole lot of woman. All right? We'll see you next week on the Standards episode.
I won't be defined, stars are aligned. What's for me is mine. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of. I've been refined, beauty's divine. All things in God's time. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. This for all my women, 'cause you're a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. I'm a whole lot of woman. This for all my